Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. And most of all, welcome now to Monday with the Ministers. And I know I put a little post up there for those of you who have seen it. And if you're not reading our little synopsises or anything like that, made a big change. We're tired of the Matrix, right? I keep talking about that. How do we break out of this Matrix? Well, the thing is, we've been following too many rules, and I've been following the rules of podcasting. Now, we're still in a podcast format, but Eye Opener Society is officially a ministry. Lizzie and I have poured our hearts into this. We've put so much time, so much energy into it. That's what we want. What we say should be important to you. It should be guiding you. It should be helping you. Um, but we don't want to do this pocket. Like, I don't want to come in here and say, oh, here's a topic that we have to talk about. We have to talk about for 20 minutes and get it off. And, as feeling it's been going too long. Oh, we got to worry about getting a guest in here and the time zones. We don't need that. Eye Opener Society is just removing that entire podcast nonsense. Lizzie and I are going to come in here and talk to you. But speaking of podcasts, and before I move on, don't forget the real podcast, Without a Candle, from Appalachian Rootworks, Rooted in Runes. Carly and Carla, I still always like to give them a big shout out. Been extremely helpful. I'm going to be calling upon them very soon for some big things. So if you're in Cynthiana, Kentucky, stop by their shop, Appalachian Rootworks, or just visit them online if you're not in the area, AppalachianRootworks.com. Visit them. They're a full service metaphysical shop. They do amazing services too. Please, definitely, before you check out any of their services, check out first their energy clearings. They require that before any other services. So check them out, AppalachianRootworks.com. So I am here with the Cosmic Fairy Princess Lizzie, and I already feel much more relaxed because this whole format, I don't got to force anything, but I'm going to just throw something out there, and whatever you have for us, definitely you could bring it out. But I'm just going to speak my piece real quick on something. We're always taught question authority. We're always telling people, we got to rise above everything. But you know what? Again, we're stupid humans and we keep messing that up. Well, I'm all for questioning authority and I'm all for, making sure your rights are, actually respected. Problem is, I see too much of this garbage on YouTube, TikTok, and everything else. And TikTok has really been, the feed has been really negative lately. I think there's people that's testing their limits. And once you start testing your limits, you're going to look like a complete ass. Let me just say that. And I'm thinking you're looking like a complete ass. Please understand something. Think before you speak. Your actions are going to speak much louder than your words. But when you're speaking out of your ass, that's exactly what you're sounding like. I hate putting things in terms like that. But again, my message to everybody is we need to get on board and be in the same kind of boat if we want to get things done right. Otherwise, we as humans, again, stupid humans, are just going to make things fail and fail again. And then we're going to have to pick everything back up, build it back up to where we were before we do something stupid again and drop it all down. So, Lizzie, what have you got for us on Monday with the Ministers?
Well, I was just gonna comment a little bit on what you were talking about first. I'm really excited that we're kind of changing the vibe a little bit because I feel like it's still gonna be basically the same thing as we were talking, but it kind of removes the rules a little bit. And you know me, I love to do that in life because whenever you remove the rules, you always notice a lot of things that you're doing that maybe wasn't benefiting you, but you thought it was because it was part of like the structure of everything. And that's one reason why I try to eliminate these types of rules for myself whenever I can find myself unfollowing them, because a lot of the times, like TikTok, for example, you know, they come up with all of these ideas, right? Like the tip of the moment would be like post 30 times a day, which is insane. And honestly, what happened when that was a thing was I unfollowed a lot of the people I liked very much because now all of their content was useless. they didn't have 30 messages that day, but they made content out of it, right? Well, now I'm not interested in following them, but they were following the rules and they got a lot of followers, right? So it worked. But it's like, depends on what their goal was there. And since my goal is always like about like the individual person, it just it sometimes I post 7 videos, sometimes I don't post for like a week and a half. You know what I mean? I do try to be consistent because it's fun to see my favorite creators all the time. But yeah, when you make it like a rule, you have to post 30 times a day. Now you have to come up with 30 things. Do you know what I mean? And that just doesn't kind of always flow with it. And I thought that was actually kind of funny that you went right into the questioning authority next thing, because that's really about what it is. Is a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I want to get on TikTok. So now I got to do all these influencer things. And you go do research and you watch all the tips and you build yourself like a little structure of understanding, and then you just like do that format, right? And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but it's just kind of interesting because the more you can kind of play with that, the more you can really see that a lot of the people that you're following don't follow any sort of format. They're just like showing up and being themselves.
Right. And yeah, social media again, it's this is kind of, the backdrop to this conversation. I know, and I too, like I try to put one thing up a day on TikTok. I think that's sufficient. But now, same thing. I go into this point where it's like, I don't got that much to say, so I'm not going to force anything. So I'll skip a day, or I might skip a week, and suddenly my feed is now blowing up, because TikTok wants you on there 30 times a day. So where is he? Oh my god, he's going. So they'll give you all these little words of encouragement, how you're doing better than like 30% of the people posting the same. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, but you know what, you're not buying me a house or anything. This is not paying my rent or anything. I'm here because I have something that I think is, good to say, and those that want to listen to it are going to listen to it. And I love that. And that's all I need. I'm not an influencer. I am not a content creator. Grace, I'm lucky I get the video to work every day when we do these things. So I'm just looking forward to giving my words. And that's exactly what I've been doing here with Eye Opener Society since I started. And you
Oh
and I,
no.
Lizzie, we've gotten into a point now where it's even more amazing because we've established something even bigger and better for ourselves. So, yeah, why do we need to follow any rules when we should be following our rules?
Sorry, you cut out just a little bit there, but I think I caught all of it. But yeah, I agree. And I think it can kind of be fun to experiment with it, because even with all of the boasting I do about how I don't follow any of the rules, I still find myself doing things all the time, making sure my background is pretty, whenever possible. Like I'll sit down and then I'll like look around and I'm tempted to like move places, because it'll show up better. Or there'll be like a new video that comes up with a tip, and I'm like tempted to just like, they're just like, what do they, you know what I mean? But the thing is when you start letting go of a structure, you either have to rebuild a new structure off of what you already know, or rebuild a structure off of the new information you're coming in plus what you already know. And so anytime that you're like playing with the rules, it's really fun to see what other rules other people swear by, and then like really look to see if that seems to like cross the board, or is it fit like a certain kind of personality, a certain genre, because certain genres, yeah, posting 30 times a day does it for them, but like not our kind of content. Our kind of content usually is something we're like thinking deeply about, you know what I mean? Some days I can think deeply 30 times, but that's kind of hard to maintain.
Yes. And, as well, too, it's sometimes just as difficult for us. Every Tuesday, we need to do these recordings. So we have our Monday morning show. And then we got to, do our Thursday sermon. But look what happened last Thursday. We had 4 ministers ready to go. But, and I said, okay, so everybody had to bail. It's not a problem. Life happens. I get it. I'm here. Of course, I had my mess ups on it too, thanks to you saying Murphy's Law. But I felt good about it because it's like we're free to just do what we do. And we don't got to worry about all these issues. Oh my God, I got to cancel all Thursday night because the other people can't show it. Doesn't need to be that. If I couldn't do it myself, then so we have a week off. It's not that detrimental if something like that happens. But I'm viewing this now more as the ministry, and I'm really feeling that we're connecting with people. And I think that ultimately is what I'm really looking forward to. I want to give words of encouragement, inspiration, ideas, not to force it upon people, but to just speak what I'm thinking in my head. And hopefully it guides people into the right direction. And even if I'm not, I got you to back me up, and you can do, or you can say what you need to say too. And then those that want to follow you will follow you. And that's what makes me proud. And that's what this ministry is about. And that's what this Monday with the ministers is going to be about. Uh, if anybody wanted to join us, like Elaine or if Halos, they have an open invitation. If we do feel that we need to have somebody on with us, open invitation as well. I just don't want the stresses again. We're in all different time zones, and that becomes an issue, and it makes it hard even to abide by rules or not by the rules. We can't be in two different time zones at the same time. So that's the only difference, really. Everybody's going to get the same Lizzie and Gary that you always get. It's just not going to be in that typical podcast, and it's going to be like this, relaxed, chill, which I like. And I think Lizzie likes that too.
I do, and I'm really enjoying the conversations we're starting to have on Sunday, where it's just kind of like open to the community a little bit, because that's been really fun to see kind of different perspectives a little bit. And oh, it's so fun to talk with you always, but me and you talk all the time. So sometimes like you've already heard my theory like every step of the way. So like to come and like talk to like fresh, and that's kind of fun too.
It is. And don't forget too, like I got my Wednesday night guided meditations, which I'm elevating. I'm trying to elevate to another level. So we always have that alongside Thursday night. But Lizzie and I had talked, and we're thinking of getting together a Tarot Tuesday. And I'm thinking I'm doing that more in support of this stupid Pennsylvania law that's hopefully going to be eliminated in the courts for illegal tarot readings. So if Lizzie and I, because we could sit here and come up with a nice little program for that, and maybe put it up one Tuesday every month or so. This way we're not over pressured. But I think that's something else that we're working on as well, because we got all this behind the scenes stuff too that we do. And hopefully we get to record a few of those. This way we could put that out on the Saturdays as I had promised. So when we have those episodes recorded, we'll do that. But I'm just going to let the universe take control of everything and let it flow, rather than me trying to egotistically push everything the way I think it should be.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about Tarot Tuesdays because I think it would be really fun to see how other people are doing tarot as well. Because I feel like I've been doing it on my own for so long now. Like, what subconscious rules have I placed on that I've forgotten? You know what I mean? Or like how I'm excited to kind of the shifts that we're having where we're just kind of more talking to the community, getting more voices. I think. I think it's kind of the point a little bit because I love recording and I love being able to like just put something out when I have an idea. But it gets kind of boring after a while. It's like we want more feedback, more community. We could talk all day about whatever, but sometimes it's kind of fun to have somebody like build on that a little, you know what I mean?
And that brings me to another point. Yeah, we do all the talking. We would like the feedback. And here's the thing, that's what our sermons are really for. So if you want to join us Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's every Thursday. So if you can't make one, you could make another one. We would love to have the live audience giving us feedback. Now, you could do that on either Facebook or YouTube, or reach out to churchofeos@gmail.com. Let us know that you want to join us, and we could give you the direct link, and you could join us directly on the actual feed. And again, you can interact with us this way. If you have questions, thoughts, ideas, Maybe there's something you would like to say. We're open to all of that. So that's every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Church of EOS at gmail.com. And if you want to be a part of any of our other little behind the scene things too, you could request that and we could always send you a link if it's something that we're going to open the doors up to. So look forward to those things. Don't just sit there and listen. That is good, but then I feel like I'm pushing you to do things. Lizzie feels like she's pushing you to do things or think a certain way. Everything's up to you. We are so different. And I know, Lizzie, we don't want to be that type of ministry that's going to push everybody to do something one way. It has to be up to them. So that's why I like the feedback.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is you can hear good advice all day long, but if you don't put it into action, then it really can't expand what you're capable of doing. And sometimes it is really hard to figure out how you're expanding without talking to other people who are also trying to figure it out. And so that is definitely one way to kind of explore is to talk to other people. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
kind of a little circular today, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's all good, but this is what we're here for. The longer it takes, the longer we're here. Hopefully, we get some people there. I think a lot of people are always so worried about joining a ministry or a church. They think it's so cult-like and all, or it's not. This what you're hearing right now. This is what we're about. It's really just Lizzie and I talking. We have ideas, we have thoughts, but we're also looking for other ideas, other thoughts from other people. We're open to all of that because we could take it and make it our own. Just like if we are giving you some ideas, you could take it, you could make it your own. And hopefully, too, now with this new format, I think we could do that a lot better. Uh, you can always reach out and comment. I don't comment on the podcast platforms because I got to have access to like 40 or 50 different accounts, and that's just not possible. Uh, our
Probably the email, right? That's the
email,
best way to
that's the best
contact
way.
us.
Yeah,
The
that's
direct
what.
information.
Right. Yeah, because that's what I was getting to. Don't put the comments because I'll never see a comment. I only on Podbean, but it's easier just to go through churchofeos at gmail.com and give us your comments, your thoughts, your ideas. Then we know we'll see them. I could pass them on to Lizzie. Lizzie could review them. And that's how you could also request, maybe you like doing energy work with Lizzie. Hey, how do I contact her? You could, request it. I'll make sure Lizzie gets that. If you want to work with meditation with me, or maybe you want to work with halos, or you need a specific tarot reading from Elaine, just reach out. We'll get you in touch with everybody. But that's my piece. I feel so much lighter now. I really do. So, Lizzie, you could take your next step here.
My next step? Oh, I don't know. My brain's all about numbers right now.
Well, if you got numbers on your mind, bring them out.
Well, I've been playing with a bunch of new things with the soul contracts, right? Like I've been playing with the format of how I play with those, I guess. And randomly this number popped up into my head. Let's see, 58, 42, 36, 17, 9. And I just like it's like it listed across my head. And I thought, well, if it's important, I'll still remember it tomorrow because I was kind of going to bed. And then the next morning, when I was drinking my morning drink, I thought the same number. And then I realized that it is one of every of the 9 digits, right? And when I thought that, then my brain went, oh, it's probably like it unlocks something.
Okay.
And so, because that's just the way that my brain, my
Mhm.
imagination, and all my intuition and everything goes. And so I wrote it down, and I took because I've told you that I've like kind of mapped every number to like a kind of a very loose meaning, right? So when I get synchronicities, I can kind of tell what the synchronicities telling me behind it. And so then what I was playing with this morning was if you took the numbers 1 through 9 and you swap them around, they really do entirely change the different meanings. And maybe that is kind of a fun way to switch things over energetically is to pair them all nicely into like a little thing. Like for example, 58 would be like changing alignment 42 is structuring patterns. And so that right there is a pretty big thing about, changing the foundations of your life, right? And then you got 36, which is manifesting codes. So there you're manifesting new energy codes. And then 17 would be like activating awareness. And then we'll just like seal it all up in a little magic of unity there at the end. And so what you've got there is a nice little thing that's like focusing on bringing changes into action, like starting something. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But if you change the numbers around, like if you were like 37, if you were manifesting awareness, right? And then maybe you're structuring alignment. Do you see how like that completely changes the meaning? And so, like, is it like a very simple way to kind of play with your quantum alignment or your energy of the day or whatever? Is to just kind of like make a little language of numbers and then just kind of play with it. And the universe might just play back with you and give you your own numbers.
See, I was always afraid of numbers because I was never good at math. But if you start learning it as a language instead of mathematical problems or mathematical energy, and you start switching things up and you make a language out of it, I feel more comfortable with that. And I don't know if that's exactly what you're trying to get at, but it sounds to me like an actual language of numbers, which are symbols. You know, people don't realize it's symbolicism. So you don't have to look
Yeah.
at numbers. Go ahead, you jump in there because I'm a little bit lost.
Oh, no, yeah, that's just what I was gonna say is I'm just using them just like symbols. You just happen to see them so often throughout the day. It's really, really helpful. I don't know if you've ever experienced where all of a sudden you realize that every time you look at the clock, there's like a number four in there. It's like 4:35 or 2:34. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if you ever noticed that, but the moment you become aware of a pattern in the number, like it's a synchronicity just that you're aligning to something. You don't actually have to do anything about it. I just think it's really fun to look into the messages and kind of play with them a little bit, but it can kind of, yeah, it kind of breaks up some of the monotony of the day a little, bring a little magic to your microwave clock.
Well, there you go. I literally, when you said that, I looked down at the time. It's 7:24 my time. So there you go. I don't
So
know if
you're
you.
so you're aware of the pattern that I'm structuring here for you.
There you go. It's spilling into my cosmic reality over here. So yeah, these are things. Yeah, these are little things. Sometimes they sound complex, and whether you're new to this or how connected you are spiritually, these are the little things you could learn. I learn a lot from Lizzie all the time. When she says these things, yeah, sometimes you might not get what she's saying. And I'm not saying that in any kind of bad way because I interpret them. I sometimes have my own interpretation of them, but that's what's good. That's what learning's about is whatever the teacher is giving you, if you could use it in your own structure, that's what it's really about. And that's what a good teacher is. And I get that a lot from Lizzie. And yeah, Lizzie, in our Sunday conversations, when you started with the whole frequency of money, I started that way back with you when you first mentioned it to me. And now I live by it. It's become my theory. So uh, this is all good for people. It really is. I hope people take this and just learn a little bit. That's our goal here. Just somebody learns a little something and got something they can take away from our conversations.
Yeah, that's really all it is. And you can just decide like if you don't, if the numbers, for example, if nine numbers and their meaning sounds like a lot, you could just decide that turtles are lucky. And every time you see a turtle, it's lucky and it's a sign that you're in alignment. And you're gonna start finding that you see a lot of turtles, especially on days that are lucky. And that becomes a meaning. And then that's in your brain and you can just like assign another one. Like it doesn't have to, you don't have to map out all of the numbers. You don't have to even have the same meaning as you did before. They're all allowed to evolve. It's supposed to be a game. Anything you're learning spiritually, if it's not fun to be learning it, then it's not what you're supposed to be learning.
That's a mouthful right there. Yeah, people. whom are just learning, take take learning as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. Because yeah, it's going to improve you and you will one day you're going to trip over something you just learned and you say, "Oh man, this is what I've been seeking my entire life." That's exactly what has happened to me when I was trying to figure things out and falling into meditation, falling into paganism and the hermetic principles. So I fell into this just by learning about them. And there was a lot of stuff I learned that I was like, yeah, this sounds so important, but it has nothing to do with me. but but you don't have to swallow that knowledge that is not for you. You know, it's nice to listen to it, but you don't have to swallow it. Take things that are actually going to work for you and develop them into something that works for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because like one person is going to be on a journey trying to like be softer and more like in tune with themselves, and another person is going to be on a journey trying to like strengthen their boundaries and stand up and go after what they want. And when those two people stand and listen to the same speech, they're going to pull completely different advice from it, and they're going to need to follow completely different advice, and only they will know what journey they're on.
Yep. And again, churchofeos@gmail.com, just in case if you are lost. And I'm not trying to drop that email. It's just we really want feedback at this point, or, ministry. So if you are lost and you don't know what learning path you should go down, let us know and we could help you. Even if it's not us, we could probably send you to somebody who can help you. And that's the beauty of this. We're not monopolizing a ministry. We're not monopolizing everybody saying you're going to have to think the way we think. We're open to interpretation and we're perfectly comfortable with that. So that's why I hope people kind of reach out to us and ask us questions or say, hey, I need help with this. We'll help you out. We really will. And we enjoy that actually.
Yep, yep. And that's kind of the focus of the Sundays that we're trying to move that into. Is just kind of a space where we can kind of play with it. Like originally I had this idea where it was really focused on the frequency of money, but the more I tried to like write out all the things I've learned over these years, the more I realize it really just kind of ties into everything. And it's gonna turn kind of into like our Mondays with the ministers, where it's like they almost have like a linear direction, but kind of not, you know? Because frequency of money, when you actually get past the idea of money, it's really just about your exchange of energy. And isn't that what we're doing in everything? Relationships, money, our hobbies, our passions, all of it. It's just an exchange of money. So, or exchange of energy. So everything's kind of on the frequency of money. So
You're
I don't know
right.
if I can keep that topic. I've been really pondering that the last couple of days. I was going to
Mhm.
talk to you about that.
Yeah, well, feel free to discuss and we'll come up with something. But in the meantime, I really enjoyed this. I have to head out. I'm actually staying in a little flea bag motel for my job. So I got to get there tonight, but that's the only reason I'm cutting it off now. But again, I appreciate everybody joining us on this new format. I hope you love it. That's just, like I said, this is more to help everybody else out. So Monday with the ministers, Thursday nights, sermons, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my Wednesday night guided meditations. And then as we start releasing more, we'll let you know when we have some more stuff for you. And Lizzie, again, I thank you. Thank you for all of your beautiful thoughts, your charm, everything else. I couldn't do without you. And as soon as I find where my clicker is, there it is. Trying to shut it down. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.